And this is Industry Chats. This is episode 17. I'm happy to be here and I hope everyone else is happy. So I'm just going to be adding my brother right here before we start with the show. Which, guys, I know it's going to be a great episode. I've also been having a great time. It's been good vibes, operations all the way. This is Industry Chats. We're just going to wait for our guests to come through and then we're going to start with the show. This is Industry Chats. We're just waiting for my brother to join us and then I'm going to start with the show. I'm your host, Tatted, aka Mr. Smooth Operator. It's been a good day. It's been a great time. Trust, guys. Today we're going to be talking all things music, all things hip hop, and we're going to be talking to my brother. As I said, it's been an operational day. It's been hectic. This is Industry Chats, episode 17. I'm your host, Tatted, aka Mr. Smooth Operator. Okay, just waiting for our guests to join in. We're just waiting for my bro to operator. So I'm just waiting on our guest to come through, which he's here in the building. I'm just adding him right now. We're just waiting for my brother to come through. This is Industry Chats.
Uh,
Bro,
yo,
yo. So for
my bad.
everyone
Had to
else,
switch up the cam quick.
I
What's up?
I'll just do an intro before we get into the show. So for
Sure
everyone
thing.
else that is here for the first time, I'm your host, Tatted, aka Mr. Smooth Operator. This is Industry Chats. As you guys can see, I'm not alone. We are joined by my brother. We're going to be talking all things hip hop. He's very talented. We have the one and only Zake in the building.
Yo,
Yes, sir.
I
Yes, sir.
mean,
Hey,
shout
you
out.
good, my dog?
Chill, man. Chill, man. Fire intro. Thank you for
Hey,
that.
hi. Shout out. And I'm so happy for us, to be here chopping it up as well.
Yeah.
So before we get too much into the show and everything else, my bro, I would like for you to give us a short bio about yourself. Tell us, where you're from, and also the inspiration behind your name as well.
Alright, so my name is Zach, eh? Jana say, it's actually my real name.
Oh yeah?
It means,
Oh damn! I
yeah,
thought it
yeah.
was like a name that you created. I was like, this name is too clean for it to be a
Nah,
real
bro.
name.
Nah, it's genuinely my real name, bro.
Uh,
It means to build yourself, to build yourself up. Ironically too, I'm an
yeah,
independent rapper,
yeah,
producer, overall creative,
mm,
mix, I master. I'm a gardener as well.
yeah.
So yeah.
Yes, sir. All right, that's very dope. For you to mention that you mix, you master as well, and you're a producer as well. That's actually very interesting. It makes me more intrigued to want to know. Okay, what's actually what's cooking in your kitchen each and every time. Even when you mention your name, what it means, it actually says so much when you mention even the other things you do. But my bros, you're talking about your name and what you do. I want to know for you to be like, okay, this whole thing, I'm gonna take it as a career. Where does that whole fire ignite from?
Honestly, it just came from the fact that nothing else made sense, for me, as
Mm.
far as a career path. I've tried to visualize myself doing other things, bro, and
Mm,
none of it felt as natural as
mm.
pursuing music. Also because I grew up around it, really. My mother put me on
Yeah.
everything. Shout out to that lady, bro.
Yeah,
I grew up
that's
listening
the
to,
first lady.
yeah, 99, man, 99.
Yeah,
She put me
that's
on old jazz, bro. I was listening to
real.
Aboni Armstrong, Dave
Yo.
Dave Brubeck, Ella Fitzgerald, the
Mm.
harpist Andrews Vollenweider. So all of those things literally raised me into this person that I am, and I still keep it around. So, and then after matric, I had to decide that I gotta jump in, actually do this shit
Yeah,
for
yeah.
real, as a
Mm.
passion. Yeah.
Man, that's actually even such a great story to have. I mean, not many people can be like, hey, yo, my mom was the one that actually put me on to this music and put me on to so many plugs. As you even mentioned with the background she gave you with jazz. But like jazz, when you listen to jazz, bro, it's actually a music that you can actually get into. And with jazz and hip hop, it makes a lot of sense why I even went and like hopped into hip hop as well. Because jazz, you have to literally be in your elements. You have to also make things that make sense, also make that type of music. So I can imagine with the inspiration that you had from there. Which shout out to your first lady again, bro.
Bless, man. Bless up.
Shout out. So, my bro, I even want to ask, when it comes to the music that you make, if someone actually had to ask you, okay, when I listen to your music, how would you actually describe your music to someone that hasn't heard it before?
I'd like to think my music is very authentic, you know. I
Mm,
speak about my life, very self-introspective.
mm,
Sometimes it's just about my day to day or other people's day to day, but it's things that are very close to my heart, very dear or very real in a sense, you know.
mm.
Yeah, I'd call it that. It's very authentic.
Damn, that's very like great when you're saying it's very authentic and it's very real. Like since you've been talking, I've actually been getting that. Even from your name, you did say it wasn't a made up name. Everything is
Yeah.
actually real and original, which wants me to even find out. Since you mentioned that you also produce as well, I mean you rap. I want you to also take us through the creative process, firstly, as you as an artist, but also with you as a producer as well.
Okay. So when it comes to the production, I literally
Yeah,
have to, it's kind of like a shifting a personality type thing. The
yeah,
Zaki that produces is not the Zaki that raps, you know?
yeah.
Yeah. That way it becomes easy for me to log in to that specific aspect. So the process when it comes to production, I listen to a bunch of music that inspires me at that time and what I maybe try to challenge myself into cooking up. And
Mm,
that's just the easy part of it. And then when it comes to being an artist, it's like I have to show up. I can't just make a beat and then not deliver, you know. So the artist part of me is that
yeah.
hungry side that actually wants to go through, just persist through all of it.
Mm.
So I keep them both of these characters in very cohesive direction. You know, it's like learning to work together, but with yourself in a sense.
Okay, okay, I get you, I get you, I get you. And that probably even makes the whole process even more fun because, as you mentioned, you create everything yourself. But even with you creating everything yourself, I mean, Zake, the producer, and Zake, the rapper, is definitely not the same people because when it comes to artists and producers, you have to tap into different elements, as you mentioned before. So I can imagine that whole creative process. Like, okay, now I'm done with the production. Let me tap into my other personality, which, we actually even get to know different sides of you that okay when he's in this element he's like this, but when he's in this element he's also like this as well, which when they all come together they create something very great.
Yeah, man.
So has
Yeah,
there
that's
so
right.
since we're talking about you being a producer and a rap, has there ever been a time where you create like a beat, you're like, okay, right now I'm literally gonna be cooking this, but I'm like, and then you write, you go into studio like, okay, this was fire, but you go like, okay, Zaki, I just cooked literally the fire beat as a producer. I need to go even harder as an artist, as hard as I thought I was going.
Yeah, that happens. You know, like some beats literally set the bar so high, bro, and I actually have to step away from them. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
like I can't
yeah.
believe that I'm the one who made it. And then
Yeah.
after clearing my head, I can then step into it and tackle it again, which then becomes easy because if maybe there's something challenging in the beat, I could always remove it or add something different to kind of like put
Okay.
leverage for that.
Okay. That's actually so dope. So many rappers wish they had that. So many producers as well wish they had that, So as you're talking
Yeah.
even about those songs, my bro, when it comes to you, which song would you say for you is like your most favorite song and why?
I'd say Gladiator Street, that song, it's in the Solid Clouds EP.
Okay,
It's
go check
literally
it
my
out, guys.
compass, bro. Yeah. That
Yeah.
song is my compass. I use it to remind myself why I'm even doing this to begin with, you know. It
Damn.
is literally my compass or the guiding star in a sense. Yeah.
Yo, that's deep, for the fact that you even use it to remind yourself. Because if most times you're always working so much, you end up forgetting that, yo, man, this is actually the reason to why I started this whole thing. Let me tap back into that element, which has me even wanting to know, since you mentioned that with that song, it's your favorite because it taps you into that element. Is there anything that you're currently working on right now in terms of projects as well, or any collabs that we should be expecting?
Well, I'm currently like finishing up this EP that I got, you know, it's gonna be out soon. I'm on like 80% as far as like the entire
Yeah.
thing.
It's
Yeah, so
almost done. It's almost done.
almost, bro. Just a few mixes here and there.
Yeah.
Getting some verses again from the homies who I featured on, and it's literally the most I'd say vulnerable work so far, the most direct as far as who I am as a person, what I've been through, what I'm still going through, trying to balance all of that. So it's going to be literally like a really cool project, very real, authentic again.
Okay, that's actually very dope, which I'm definitely looking forward to hearing it because I know you never disappoint. You always like cooking what you're cooking some heat each and every time, my bro. So as we even talking about those collabs and everything else, I want to find out from you actually, when it comes to working with other artists locally or globally, who actually do you want to work with? Do you think, okay, right, those people actually want to tap in with so and so and so and so?
Well, locally, I literally want to work with Shane, bro. Shane
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Eagle, that
I,
nigga inspired a lot of it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay,
And
okay.
then as far as Orkant globally, I want to work with the likes of J. Cole, Absol,
Okay,
Mick
okay.
Jenkins,
Yeah, yeah,
El
yeah, yeah.
Sweatshirt, this nigga Mike, all those people are literally they sharpen my pen. That's who I listen to, remind myself to keep setting the bar higher, even for myself. Like they
Mm,
keep sharpening their pens as well. So that just inspires me. And
mm.
yeah, I'd love to work with them for real.
Yeah, that's actually so interesting in terms of the artist that you mentioned. You started with Shane E, and then when I think of you mentioning Cole and the other people as well, it makes a lot of sense when I even get to listen to your music that you always like tapped into what's happening around us. You always want to make sure that the pen game is on point because sometimes some people don't care as much about their pen, which I mean go like I mean the pen game is so important, especially when it even comes to what we do as well.
True,
Mm,
true,
mm,
bro.
Facts, my
Yeah.
bro. So as I'm touching even on that, right? I mean, in the industry, we have a lot of things going on, and you actually being an artist that's also trying to break into the industry. What would you say are like some of the challenges that you go through on a daily that you would actually like to see change?
Well, I'd say the biggest challenge would be just persisting, being consistent with my own projects myself.
Mm, 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 mm.
It's always a battle as an artist. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah,
a smooth ride. You gotta choose every day to keep on sparking and
yeah.
trying to work up until you get to that level.
Mm,
Um, Also finding people who will be just as passionate about it. It gets
fact,
tiring to
fact.
convince folks to really love it like that. But I guess it happens. It's things that people have their own journeys. It's Sonda again,
Mm,
learning to have
fact,
perspective on that. Yeah. So
facts.
that's the biggest challenge, just persisting, bro, honestly.
Mm. I agree with you on that one. When you're saying actually being persistent is so important because it's really so hard every day having to wake up and be like, okay, this whole thing I'm gonna be operating it each and every day. I'm literally gonna be on it, on it,
Yeah.
on it. It takes a whole lot of mental strength to do that. So I like that you even touching on that, which I hope even other people watching this will actually look at that and try to actually be on their thing each and every time.
Yeah, man.
And then, my bro, before we actually even leave, I'd like for you to just leave us with something in terms of your music, what you want people to hear now and in future. Because earlier on, you were mentioning you will always want it to be organic as well. But is there anything else you'd like to say before we leave?
Um, Honestly, like to everyone who's trying to pursue anything, just like do it. At the
Mm,
end of the day, you have nothing to lose. We're all on a spinning globe, bro.
right.
There's nothing too far out of reach for you. As long as you want it, you gotta get out there, go for it. Don't be passive about anything, you
Fact,
know?
fact.
Yeah.
Facts, my bro. I really appreciate that, Rich. I even hope, even with other people, they're gonna be listening to what you're saying as well. They're gonna also take it into heart, because a lot of times you don't get to hear people talking about the things that they're going through, and we got to actually find out more about your work as well. Which I hope even everyone else they're gonna tap in and tap in and tap in, because I definitely know there's gonna be a whole lot more operations. And my bro, I wanna say shout out for you coming through to the show and giving us your time as well.
Hey man, thank you, bro. I'd like to send my own gratitude for you for the platform as well, you know. I
Yeah, no,
appreciate it, man. Yeah,
yeah,
I
no,
genuinely appreciate it.
yeah, I appreciate it, my brother. Whereas to everyone else, don't forget, guys, to go check out his most recent jobs. Go hit that follow. I'm your host, Tatted, aka Mr. Smooth Operator. We had the one and only Zaki in the building, which is coming through with the vibes and the operations. See y'all
Hey,
guys
Levi.
next time. Shout out, my brother.
Shout out, brother, man. Bless, bless, man.